Hello, everyone. I'm Queen Kareem. Mwah. Your favorite horror-loving, video game-obsessed, pole-dancing drag queen. Serving you some more Mortal Kombat content today. Kind of look like a Mortal Kombat character, huh? I did not expect that. I feel like Ashra's little sister. Slay, bitch. We just had a huge announcement. All of year 2 has been revealed for Mortal Kombat 1. We got trailers, we got new finishers, we've got new characters, we've got a new story, we've got a lot to talk about. I have gone a little radio silent since the release of Mortal Kombat 1 nearly a year ago, and that is because this game has been a mixed bag for me, okay? Alright, before we get too deep into the thick of it all, let's watch the trailer and kind of react to it. I've seen it before, but let's watch the trailer so we know what we're working with. Roll the footage, Mary. See, like right off the bat, is this Chaos Realm? Usually Chaos Realm is green, but it's giving Chaos Realm. Pyramid, we saw the battle. Havoc on Havoc.
Everywhere with anarchy.
Love seeing some anarchy. I'm happy that Havoc is kind of taking the reins a little bit. He's a great character.
Let real warriors handle this.
That's very Devorah. That was very Devorah, and you cannot convince me otherwise. So Sector is back. She is going to be playable. We are getting some gameplay. She does release in like a month and a half. Notice I'm saying she, not just in the gay way, but because they are gender bent now, gender swapped. Cyrex and Sector are Miss Cyrex stepping into the scene, looking good. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far of the gameplay, except that. What's with the pufferfish, bloatfish, fucking marshmallow goop shit? Where's the green nets, Mary? There's the green boots. So where's the green nets? Everything I love about this expansion, the internet hates. Why does everybody hate Noob Saibot's redesign? I love the black and green. It's green because Chaos Energy, Havoc made him. It's me. You know I love black and green, so of course I love this redesign. The black and purple was great, but I live for the black and green. I like it. I live, and I'm excited to play with it and see it in action. He also looks very brutal at this time. That was cunty as hell. You cannot deny that. That was an amazing shot. Mortal Kombat is back.
First Shang Tsung, now this Havoc.
Who said that? It sounds like Katana. Maybe it's I don't know. Somebody else off screen we don't know about yet. That's giving a final battle. I feel like they're gonna have to come up with something extreme to defeat Havoc, since he can dismember and delimb and whatnot and repair.
It disgusts me.
That was a slap.
Make no mistake, we are here because of your treachery.
So they're obviously tied to Bihan. Bihan is not Saibot. I can kind of see where that's going. What in Infinity Stones? I don't even know Marvel, but that was giving Marvel. That was giving Infinity Stones.
Do you like scary movies?
It gets me every time. Yes. Okay. Okay. This goes hard. This little ensemble goes hard. Love that shot. God, I wish we lived in a pre-data mining world. I've known Ghostface is coming for like a year. Could you imagine if I had no idea and I just saw this trailer? Animalities are back, and I'm very excited about these. Goofy as hell. Come on, Hippo. Love. Come on. Sue, is that what his name is? The T-Rex at the Field Museum? Sue? I think it's Sue. Kind of match it. That is so fucking cunty. I'm sorry, but it is. She's mother for that. Melina being the one to turn into a praying mantis, famously known for biting the head off of their male sexual partners. Melina being the character she is, on brand. Great decision. No notes. New story, new characters, new skins. free update to all players. Come on, free. All right, that trailer was loaded up, girl. They really gave it to us. They said, you don't need to see what they saw at Comic-Con. We're going to condense it all for you, okay? 4-minute trailer. Usually, I mean, you know me. Usually I would be like, fuck that. That is way too long. But this one, this video game trailer, 4 minutes, I'll take it, baby. I'll take it. So let's talk about the story first. We'll go in order. We'll be somewhat organized today instead of the usual chaos. There's a lot to talk about with the story. So me as a Mortal Kombat fan, why I keep coming back is the story. These characters are so well developed and have so many years of history, decades of history behind them, which has kind of been thrown out the window for this game, but beyond the point. The fact that this is a fighting game is kind of ancillary to me. I like it. I love the fatalities. I like to play the fighting game, memorizing the combos, learning the characters. It's fun. But I think Mortal Kombat is a narrative too rich to be contained to that style of game, which is why so many fans, such as myself, want expanded modes. We would kill for Conquest mode again, some sort of story to play through. The MK11 Crypt was everything, which is why going from that, this fleshed out, fun, puzzle solving, almost third person RPG in itself, to the MK1 Invasions Mario Party ass minigame moment, it's a little bit of a step down, if you ask me, down the spiral staircase. So this story is going to expand what happened in Mortal Kombat 1. The timeline nonsense came to a head. Both endings of MK11 ended up being canon. Shang Tsung fighting Liu Kang once more. Battle to end all battles, all timelines. Liu Kang wins, of course, and we prosper from there. But, as teased in the post-credits scene, Titan Havoc was not having it. So he is clearly the big bad, the villain of this DLC.
Because you're the villain. And the villain dies at the end.
Which I'm here for. I've always loved Havoc. He's probably my second favorite character next to Serena, which is why it feels so good to play them both at the same time in this game. It looks like we're going to be seeing some Chaos Realm, which I would live for because it is a criminally underutilized element of the story. Chaos Realm and Order Realm, every depiction they've had has been so mysterious and alluring that it is time for them to shine a little bit. And honestly, we love Earthrealm. We love Outworld. But girl, they are played out. We have focused on them for every single fucking game. It is about time we get some lore about the other shit that is just kind of mentioned. This universe is so big and vast. We need to explore it beyond Outworld and Earthrealm over and over again in different iterations. So taking a visit to Chaos Realm would be great. Knowing Dominic and this writing style of these new games, do I think we're going to be spending majority of the time in Chaos Realm? No. Do I think we're going to see it a little bit? Yes. So there was that scene in the trailer that had like Havocs on Havocs on Havocs on Havocs, which I've been told is like a Marvel ripoff. I don't know. I kind of love this. I think they're going to get jobbed to hell. So here's the thing. Ed Boon said in an interview that they didn't want to repeat bosses. They wanted to do someone new. So that's why they're doing Havoc. That makes me think that this is going to be like a one-off thing. Havoc is going to get bodied in the end. I could see that happening, and I hope Havoc gets to do some cool shit in this new expansion before they probably brutally kill him off, never to be mentioned again as a final villain or whatever. I honestly think he should kill somebody. Dead ass, he should kill somebody. He should walk up to somebody in the street, claw their asses in half. I don't care. Somebody famous, roster-wise, big one. Take somebody out. Doesn't even matter. They'll come back in 10 seconds. Death is not permanent in this universe. I also noticed in the main story that they were actually pretty careful to like mention Sector and Cyrax a handful of times, but not actually give away their information. And also all the tower endings are canon. So the one that features Sector and Sub-Zero, it's a little vague. So they kind of hinted maybe something would be going on with them that was different than what we knew to be true, a la them being female. Slay new queens. I will say, I do take one issue with the gender swapping of Cyrax and Sector. There are so few females in this game. According to the roster, And it's honestly not even that much about gender balance. Like, yes, it is. Like, where are the women when there are so many in this series? But it's also just about variety. Like, why in this game is there so many men? Like, it is a total sausage fest. I don't understand. Like, the roster's fun, it's fine, but the fact that Kombat Pack 1 added no women characters and Kombat Pack 2 is also only adding 2 women characters that are altered versions of characters that already exist. Why would we not introduce, like, literally anyone else? Like, any other female character in the entire franchise. Jade, Shiva, Scarlet. Right off the top of my head, like, big ones that people would live for. You could even go dig deep into the lore and pull out some old baddies. Kira, maybe somebody who hasn't been playable before. Tazia. There's so many people they could have pulled from the depths. Jataka, Kia, Serena's in this game. Make Serena playable! There's so many options they could have went with. So to gender swap 2 characters that already existed feels like a weird fucking choice. I hope there's some narrative reason why it matters, but something tells me there's not going to be. So I don't take issue with them, like, being gender. Who the fuck cares? Like, Raiden is a farmer now. It doesn't matter. It's just a character trait that has changed now due to this new universe lore bullshit, right? But why them? Like, what was the reason?
What was the reason? What was the reason?
To be fair, I say that about a lot of the choices in this game. It just feels like an odd choice. It's nitpicky, but it's an odd choice. Anyway, how they're going to factor into the story. So they were mentioned a lot with the Lin Kuei. In fact, Scorpion even had a line about them being dually loyal to Bihan.
What are you doing? Once he's exposed, won't you be made Grandmaster?
You forget Cyrax and Sector. Their loyalty to Bihan is absolute. They'll sooner abet his corruption than follow me. We must chart a new course. One that both honors our father's legacy and serves Earthrealm.
So I think Noob Saibot is going to be directly connected to them. I feel like there's going to be some sort of Noob trying to convert Sector and Cyrax to the dark side, or pushing the Cyber Initiative in some new era way. I think this time the robots are not human brains in robot body, but rather cybernetic enhancements. Like, it's almost like armor, like power armor that they can put on. Kind of like drag. In terms of the general story that we're going to get, I think it's like a 5 or 6 chapter expansion they've confirmed. All I have left really to puzzle together is big picture. Where are we going, right? Because we've already raised the stakes so much. I honestly thought the stakes were going to get higher in MK11 when we were erasing time to the beginning of history and completely starting over with a blank slate. Then this game comes along and raises the stakes to be like the timeline clash of all timeline clashes. So even from that one line that somebody off screen had,
First Shang Tsung, now this havoc.
it suggests to me that hopefully they understand that this multiple timeline, multiverse shenanigans is no longer funny or cute. We're done with it. We need things to matter. We need consistency. We need not to reboot the timeline every 2 fucking games. We need a story to follow that matters and will not just change in the blink of an eye. So hopefully they're understanding, and from that line, it's alluding to the fact that they need to do something about all these timelines, and they're gonna, pull a Marvel and do the one sacred timeline route. That might be more of a personal want / prediction rather than like, oh, I think this is what they're going to do. It's kind of what I hope they do, but Dominic.
But I'd rather do what I want to do.
Well, what you want to do is not necessarily what you're gonna do.
So in terms of big picture, I'm very curious where we're going. Are they going to condense the timeline down to one narrative focus? Is death going to matter? Is it going to be permanent? Because right now, characters are coming back seconds after they die. Let's compare and contrast for a moment, shall we, darlings? Let's do a Venn diagram.
I love Venn diagrams. I really do. I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those 3 circles and
Sindel from the old timeline. Miss Sindel tragically killed herself, died to protect Earthrealm, right? You know, it was a noble sacrifice. She stayed dead for several years, aka several games. She was then resurrected as an evil girlie. She was a baddie. She was a demon. She was a new Sindel. Her character had changed. Her motivations had changed. The characters that surround her, Katana, Melina, Shao Kahn, their motivations and thoughts and opinions changed because of this. That's how you bring a character back and it introduce a new conflict and it matter. I like that. MK11 Sonya Blade dies this tragic, heartbreaking death. Cassie Cage reacts to it and is there, has to go home and tell Johnny about it. It's a sad moment. We're crying. Not 30 seconds later, in walks Sonya Blade from the past. We have not even had time to process the fact that this game has killed Sonya motherfucking Blade of the Outworld Intelligence Agency, of the Special Forces, of Mortal Kombat fame, is dead. She's already walked back into the picture as like an alternate version. There are no stakes. We need stakes again, Mary. Just look at All Stars 9. So yeah, where do you think the story is going? Because I think they have to end this timeline shenanigans, and where it's going to end up to lead into the sequel game, I don't know. They could do like a prediction of Special Forces. Hopefully we're entering new territory, right? Because this game, Mortal Kombat 1's story, kind of loosely retold the events of Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon in the same way that MK9 retold MK1, 2, and 3, and then MKX kind of, sort of did MK4 a little bit, you know, and then MK11 kind of did its own thing. Hopefully we're going into the territory of its own thing so we can have something unique and with its own identity that matters. Because MK2 could be the one that's about anything. I'm also hoping that this new timeline, this moral theme of this DLC is that the more things change, the more they will stay the same. There's some constants in every timeline that will stay the same. Maybe it's predetermined by the one being, who knows? But I think, you know, we're slowly getting closer to the original characters that we knew. Let Tanya be a treacherous cunt again. I want to see her turn on bitches. I want to see blood. Kill her, Havoc. I don't know. Let her do something. Li Mei, remember what she did in the original timeline? She went for that dragon dick and rode Onaga all the way to the top of the pyramid. Is she gonna turn? She just gained nobility and she's happy being like a cop now. Maybe a better opportunity comes along in the form of that schlong. Alright, so Khaos Reigns announced 6 new characters. 3 that are going to be available at launch, 3 Mortal Kombat characters. Cyrax, Sector, and Noob Saibot. It also announced 3 guest characters. Conan the Barbarian, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger and all of his glory yet again returning. Also returning, kind of, from the Terminator franchise, the T-1000. And, of course, Ghostface of Scream fame. Okay, you know me. You know I'm a Scream girly. We've got a lot to talk about when it comes to Ghostface. He's got his own section of this video. Let's talk about everybody else first. The Mortal Kombat characters. I kind of already gave my thoughts on Cyrax and Sector, right? Their designs, kind of cool, very Devora inspired, which is strange. Maybe Devora will be a cameo later in this game at some point. I don't know. I like the way they look. They don't look bad. I kind of have an issue with the art style of this game in general. Everybody has the same exact proportions and just looks like slim superheroes to me. So they suffer from that problem. But it's also fine. I think they look okay. The only real issue I'm taking so far is Cyrax having the weird marshmallow goop powers, which feels very Devora, especially considering Cyrax is yellow, Devora was yellow. So that is strange to me. Noob Saibot, I like the fact that he's green now. It probably has no story significance. It's probably to embody the chaos energy. Chaos Realm's very green. Havoc invented Noob Saibot this time. Not Quan Chi, not Shang Tsung, none of this Nether Realm. I'm surprised that it's still Bihan. Props to them for making it Bihan. That I was certain it was going to be somebody else this time. Hanzo, Kuai Liang, Smoke, who knows, somebody else but Bihan. But no, Noob Saibot is confirmed to be Bihan from that trailer, which we kind of saw hinted at in the main story with Shang Tsung kind of tempting him over to the dark side, alluring him. He was kind of a dick the entire time anyway, so it was no surprise that he was going to turn bad.
I'll make them good girls go bad.
I think his design is fine. I've never really had a noob design that I disliked. I feel very neutral on him as a character, mostly positive. His designs have always been cool. Nothing that like blows my mind. I did like the sickle though in MK11. That felt kind of on brand for him. And I also like how buddy he was with the shadow lifting him up. His voice definitely sounds better in this game though. That is for sure. His MK11 voice was a little R.I.P. that voice actor's throat because honey, cigarettes couldn't even do that rasp. It seems like he's going to have a story that's all similar to what it was in the past. Perhaps he will help Liu Kang realize that some things will just never change and some things are destiny, making Noob Saibot Destiny's child. Alright, now the guest characters. Conan and the T-1000. I'll make it short. I don't really care about these two. Will I play them? Probably. Maybe I'll try them once or twice. It's very similar to Rambo and the Terminator in the last game. Like, I don't know who was asking for this. I'm not in the fan base of these characters the way some people are. If you're excited for these characters, great. I am happy for you. Me personally, I'm just kind of meh about these two. I'm curious how they're going to be different from their MK11 counterparts, you know, Rambo and the Terminator. I don't know. Strange choices. Are we promoting something in the future? What's the theme here? There's, Combat Pack 1 was all superheroes. So we got Omni-Man, Homelander, and Peacemaker. Wow, good for me for remembering their names. But now we're getting an action movie, 2 action movies, I guess, action horror-ish, and a horror character. So it's like, what's the theme? I don't know. This is what I mean about this game not feeling cohesive. Like, what are we doing? Where are we getting these deals? All the other games had somewhat of a theme. MK11 had the whole action movie hero thing, 80s with the RoboCop and the Terminator. Joker was a little wild. Joker was out of pocket, but that was also like a cross promotion for WB. You know, it's weird. MKX, we had horror characters. You know, I was living, girl. Hello, I was eating it up. We had Jason, Leatherface, Alien, Predator. It's strange that we're just getting all these random ass bitches. That's what I'm trying to say. Do I hate it? No. Obviously, the point of guest characters is to pull in more of a general audience, appeal to more people, be like, hey, fandom, that character you love and worship is in our game. Come check it out. Come punch his guts out. Come kill people with him. Classic. So this leads me into Ghostface. We gotta talk about Ghostface. I have seen almost nothing but hate and slander for this announcement and character online, and I am frankly sick of it. I'm sick of it. Of course, everyone has their own opinion. I am giving you my opinion, so those people are not invalid. If you're pissed about Ghostface, be pissed about Ghostface. That's on you. However, I do want to address the validity of some of the criticisms, because I take issue with that. If you're gonna hate on something, at least have a reason. Why are people just blindly hating shit? First of all, the first argument I see or hear every time Ghostface in MK1 is brought up is, he's just a guy with a knife. Oh, we are gonna fight, bitch. Are you kidding me? Square up. We are gonna fight right now. On camera. I will jump through your screen and fight you if that's your argument. Because literally half the roster can be boiled down to person with blank. Are you fucking kidding me? He's just a guy with a knife. First of all, this is a video game, and these are guest characters. People from outside the franchise that have nothing to do with the MK lore whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. Secondly, Aaron Black is just a dude with guns. Rambo in the last game is literally just a guy with a knife. He doesn't even have a costume or a mask. If you really want to go about it, Sub-Zero is just a guy with ice powers. What else does he bring to the table? Strong punches? Yeah, that's interesting. But how many other characters just or a person. Kenshi is just a dude with a sword. He happens to be blind, but how much does that factor into the way he plays? He gets his like ghost powers, but he's just a dude with a sword. Johnny Cage, from MK1, literally just an actor. Literally, this man is Glenn Powell. This man is Jean-Claude Van Damme. This man is literally just a dude who acts in movies. They gave him some Mediterranean war cold green fucking magic bullshit in the 10th video game, yes. But he is just an actor. What does he have? A trophy? Sonya Blade is just some kick-ass woman with an energy bracelet. Fuck out of here with the, he's just a guy with a knife. We're gonna fight about that. Some people say he's an odd choice because he doesn't really have signature moves, or his movement style doesn't fit that of a fighting game. This criticism, I can actually see and somewhat agree with, yes. However, I would like to bring to your attention the fact that this is a franchise with 6 films under its belt now. 6 2-hour films worth of content. Ghostface poses, Ghostface move sets, fatalities, elaborate kill scenes. There is so much creativity and like homage to the movies that they could give this character that would fit Mortal Kombat so well. Could you fucking imagine if one of Ghostface's fatalities is, spoilers for literally every Scream movie in existence from this point forward. If you've never seen a Scream movie, please skip ahead. Thank you. Could you imagine if one of Ghostface's fatalities, he summons like a garage door and like shoves somebody through it in an homage to Tatum's death? You can bet your ass Dewey's death from Scream 5 is going to be a fatality in this game. I'm calling that now, mark my words. It was in Call of Duty Cold War when they put Ghostface in that game. The animation is already like half out there. I bet that's a big, it's from a recent movie. It's a big elaborate moment. I bet that's going to be in there. I could also see from Scream 6 the fatality of him just stabbing the literal fuck out of somebody like he did, like Sam did to Dermot's character, and then stabbing him through the eye as the final blow. And then maybe even ripping the head off because it's Mortal Kombat. There are so many death scenes. There are so many movement scenes. The chase scene in Scream 6 in Gail's apartment where Ghostface flies over the couch. That is probably going to be his jump animation. Are you kidding me? Like, there's, for a fact they're going to put the blade wipe. Maybe they'll homage to the point that there's always 2 killers. Will they do a Ghostface cameo? Probably not. I feel like that would have been announced. But in terms of, like, moveset, there could be a moment where, like, another Ghostface comes in and does something. Just saying. Or even in the fatality, maybe. That would even be cool if in his win pose, Ghostface unmasked and it's just a random character from the roster. That would be so cool. Are you kidding me? There is so much to pull from this franchise. The gear is right there. The knife is probably going to be the customizable moment, and then the palettes are going to be different masks, different palettes, and if Warner Brothers / RNRS was smart, they would have struck a deal with Easter Unlimited / Fun World, the people who own the rights to the Ghostface mask, who the trademark is with. Check your emails, ladies and gentlemen. They should have put a partner together to make brand new Ghostface mask designs that are specific to this game, like Dead by Daylight did. Then Fun World pumps them out of their fucking factory, sells them on the market. Mortal Kombat Ghostface mask. Flash forward to 20 years from now, that is one of the most rare Ghostface collectibles on the market. The rest is history. There is so much potential with Ghostface, and as a horror fan, this is something I, as well as pretty much any other horror fan in existence, has been looking forward to for a long time, well before MKX. Ed Boon has said he wants to make an all-horror fighting game. Do it. So, long story short, I am excited as hell for Ghostface, as you could probably imagine for me, a diehard Scream fan. And the people online trying to make it seem like this is the worst choice in history, this is awful, he's not going to fit in, you're going to fucking eat your words, and I'm confident on that. Flash forward roll the tapes, Mary, in 6 months from now or a year from now, whenever he comes out and is part of the meta, people are going to be maining Ghostface because he's going to be so strong and his attacks are going to be so strong and his mids are going to be the best and he's going to have unblockable 50-50s. I don't know. I don't really know fighting game terminology. But I guarantee you he's going to play awesomely and they're going to do this character justice. So all the people saying that it's a weird choice and he doesn't fit MK, have your opinion, but don't ruin it for everybody else. Don't try to say that people that are excited are wrong or invalid, because guess what? You're not wrong or invalid for hating it. I am not a fan that the superheroes are in this game. I think they should stay their asses in Injustice. But guess what? They're in the game, Mary, and people love it, and people play them. I'm not one of those people. There are 25 other characters that I will play instead of those characters. So if you don't want to play Ghostface, don't fucking play Ghostface. But don't sit here and act like this is the worst decision NRS has ever made /WB. Please, please, please. rant is over, let's briefly talk about pre-order skins and animalities. So if you pre-order this Khaos Reigns expansion, you know, this part 2 to Mortal Kombat 1, you will get yourself 4 skins. Let's take a look here. Okay, they're cute. They're cute. I mean, I'm not blown away. The Melina one's my favorite of these 4. I mean, this isn't, you know, pre-order bonuses have been a thing for almost 20 years at this point. Has it been 20 years? 2004? Okay, maybe not 20 years, but like, pre-order bonuses have been a thing for many years now, so they're to be expected. I don't care about them. I'm not pre-ordering for these pre-order bonuses, okay? I think it's cool that they exist. I'm here to tell you my opinions on the skins themselves. Okay. Decently fire. Okay, whatever. They'll probably be available in the premium shop for $10 each anyway. Animalities, though. Animalities are looking good. I think this is great. They're going to be a free update to everybody, so everybody's going to get to experience animalities, which is, you know, great, especially with the fiasco that was the seasonal fatalities at the beginning of this year. Trying to sell a 3-second animation for $12, and then quickly trying to mend it together by being like, well, it was the bundle. Bundle this ass up and kiss it, Mary. Fuck that shit. So the fact that everybody is going to get free fatality finishers, you know, animalities, pretty awesome. As I was saying during the trailer reaction, I love this. It's a great callback to MK3 or UMK3, you know, and it's fun to see these goofy ass, stupid animations. A lot of people forget that this video game is silly. There are so many jokes and non-serious things in this franchise. This franchise has always been pretty unserious. So to get wild and fun, like the friendships in MK11, is so necessary. Especially with the life cycle of these games, every single one has had some sort of alternate finisher, right? You know, MK9 brought back babalities. MKX brought back brutalities. MK11 had the friendships. MK1 has animalities. It's only right that these came back. It was logically what was next. So, yes, I'm very happy about that. I believe I've spoken out in the past about how I'm not crazy about the grayscale-ness of MK1. Like when you do a fatality or a fatal blow, it kind of goes grayscale black and white. I don't love that. And I do think it looks weird. However, from what I saw in the trailer, it really wasn't bothering me with the animalities. I thought the animalities were giving enough life and enough like hype that it didn't bother me. So the animalities are looking great. No notes. I am excited to play as everybody and unlock their... So guest characters are obviously going to get animalities. It's been confirmed. I don't know why it needed to be confirmed. All the characters in MK11 got friendships. Why would they just not give it to DLC characters? Because they're licensed? Like, what? They licensed them to be in the game. So anyway, what the fuck is Ghostface's animality going to be? Are you kidding me? It's going to be so wild. Maybe like a polar bear because of the white mask, or like an Arctic fox. I don't know, but whatever it is, that is definitely going to go down in history as something. You know, there is some weird Ghostface lore out there, a la Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise Ghostface bear costume, but this might take the cake as the new weirdest piece of Ghostface in video games lore media out there. I'm excited. Since this whole game's release and expansion kind of follow a similar release style and pattern to MK11 and Aftermath, I think it's only fair we compare some of the facts. So when Aftermath launched, it was $40. When this DLC launches, it's going to be $50. $60 if you did not buy Kombat Pack 1. So basically giving you all of Kombat Pack 1 for $10. A lot of people seem to just see $60 and panic. It's $50. $60 if you don't already own Kombat Pack 1. So Aftermath was, I don't remember how many chapters that story mode was. Was it also 5 or 6? I think it was. I remember the main story was like 13, so I'm pretty sure the expansion was like 5 or 6. I think Aftermath was not that long. So roughly a similar story length expansion. It also came with 6 characters. It had Sindel, RoboCop, Terminator. No, it was Nightwolf, Spawn. So Also 6 characters, 3 with the story, and Shiva and Fujin and all that. So, sorry, I should have probably Googled this a little bit more and got my facts straight before I went on a thing about it. But I'm just going off memory here because we're just brief comparison. It had the same amount of characters pretty much, very similar story. I believe it had some skins and whatnot too, and then everybody got friendships as a free update. So this DLC is $10 more. A lot of people are freaking out about the price of the DLC. They see it's $50. They're like, I already paid $60 for this game. Why do I have to pay more? And you know what? Yes. It is pretty outrageous that we have to sink hundreds of dollars into this one video game, which seems to be lacking so much content. Perhaps it would be a different story if there was more incentive, more game modes, because also not looking at, what came after, let's also look at what was in the game. MK11 obviously had much more customization, palettes, costumes, gear galore, 3 pieces every fighter. There was also the Towers of Time, so there was plenty of stuff to unlock there. Game modes, didn't have Test Your Luck. There was online King of the Hill. There was online Ranked. There was a lot more in the game. There was the whole crypt, unlocking costumes and everything for everybody. There was much more in that game than MK1 has. MK1 has invasions and online. It has the classic towers. Every character only has 1 gear piece and very limited costumes and palettes. So it feels like less content. Perhaps it would have been more if there were more game modes, if there were more things to do, more things to unlock, more if every character got their own quest line or something, whatever. I mean, they have their own mastery unlocks, whatever, but it's different, it's different. It's just not what we're used to, and the grind is different than the gameplay loop is different than it's ever been before. I agree, the price is crazy. I bought the collector's edition of this game. How do you think I fucking feel, bruh, with these $10 ass skins? So I do agree. However, I would like to play devil's advocate for a second to this angel that I've presented you throughout this video. A lot of people are not thinking about the big picture, and people who are not in the industry love to criticize aspects of things that they do not know about or understand in any way, shape, or form. Kind of like how gays watch Drag Race and think they know every little thing about drag and that they would be the cuntiest princess, pop star, ninja warrior bitch to ever lay grace on our television sets, when in reality, they will fall flat on their face the second they take any sort of step in heels. You're not Cinderella, fucker. Anyway, I studied animation in college. I know, could you imagine these big ass titties resting on a little desk forged for the shape of like a hobbit? I understand what it is like to be in the industry. I understand what it is like to work tirelessly to get even a 2-second animation. The amount of rendering that has to be done, it would take us a day overnight to render our 5-second animation project on a supercomputer in a lab somewhere, let alone what these underpaid, overworked employees are doing in some office somewhere. People think there's I feel like people have this perception of video game making is like 50 people in a room all working on the same computer in tandem. It's really not like that. It is, first of all, very small. The amount of people that work on things is tiny. And it takes a lot of fucking time. And we have to talk about the price of video games in general. Video games for the past, 10, 15 years have been $60. Because let's talk about stocks and supply and demand. General economics, shall we? $60 for a video game has been determined to be that sort of sweet spot equilibrium point where consumers will still pay for it and companies will make the most amount of money they can. The reason video games do not cost $100 is because the stats, the statistics, the journalisms, the documentations, the facts say and predict that people will not pay $100 for a video game. Ask yourself, dear child, would you go out and pay $100 for the next AAA title that you want, the next Call of Duty, the next Resident Evil, the next Mortal Kombat, the next FIFA, I don't know, whatever. Would you pay $100 of your hard-earned American US dollars for that game? The answer is probably fucking not, which is why video games are $60. Now, we just discussed how this has been a thing since the PS3, Xbox 360 era, right? Well, Let's compare and contrast the technology, the power, the labor amount calculated and that has expanded over those 10 or 15 years. We are now working in like fucking 8K, 60 FPS, photogrammetry, realism bullshit. Our processors are like i9 X terabyte, whatever. My point is, technology has evolved so much. The process of video game making, not so much. So these people are, this is again, big picture people. This is why the video games that have been coming out in the past few years have been ass. This is why we're getting glitches, buggy, unfinished games that get patched out later. And this is what happens when a niche thing becomes mainstream and late stage capitalism ruins everything. They have to charge for everything. They have to earn their money somehow. They say, okay, games are going to be $60. How do we get more money? In the past, games were made cheaper and didn't take as much labor, and they were still sell for this price, and then they projected their sales based off of the enjoyment of the game, because that's all there was to go off of. There was none of this, give me your credit card, pay for this costume shit. We were just playing games, unlocking shit. Fans had kind of a say in what was to come, right? Because studios would appeal to fans, kind of broadly. I'm not saying 100%. They listen, I'm just saying games were made with intent and artistic direction and enjoyment level in mind rather than profit. Now it is very clear that that is not the case. Studios have to make their money. They have deadlines, so games get out in the unfinished states that they release in. They say, we'll fix it later, because guess what? People like you and I are going to buy that game. And we did, Mary. We bought the game. We bought the game. There's a lot to be said about the fact that Ermac and Quan Chi are so prevalent in the story, yet we're charged as DLC characters when that sneaky little vinyl record that just came out had them on the full roster. Interesting. Shady. But guess what? That is just the world we live in now. No matter what shortcut you come up with, they're going to find a way to eventually exploit it. Microtransactions are now out of control with loot boxes. And think about the things we're paying for. Costumes and skins, that's stuff that takes little to no labor. You change a couple colors, as opposed to animating, sitting down, writing out, fleshing, modeling, rigging, voice acting, scanning, mocapping an entire universe in story mode. That shit is expensive. That shit is hard. And that is why this game took 4 years to make, because they pumped it all into the story, to the animations, to the art style, to that sort of aspect, to the gameplay and the balancing, making sure it was fun to play, but then did not have time for extra game modes. It just takes a second of examination. And my point of bringing this up isn't to start arguments or say people are in the wrong. It is just to point out the trend in the industry today. And this is a complicated issue. It's not so easy to just be like, oh, fuck greedy WB. They are charging way too much and I don't want to pay that much. That is fair. And I do agree with you. But already in the comments, I guarantee people are going to be like, she's a WB dick rider. Defend that corporate greed, honey. Girl, I'm not defending corporate greed. I am saying that it is a complex issue that does not have a black and white answer. It is not as easy to be like, well, fuck them. Because if you boycott the game, all that's going to project to them is, oh, poor sales, people don't like Mortal Kombat anymore. No more Mortal Kombat. It's that simple. The game, the content is never going to be as enthusiastic and pleasing as it maybe once was, and that's just how it is. I want people to get excited. I want to like these games. I want to have fun with them, especially when they're franchises that I've been following for years, sometimes decades. But the reality is, money is what's going to come first. So you can choose not to buy this expansion. You can choose to wait for this expansion to go on sale. Let people do what they want. Stop trying to gatekeep. Stop trying to shame people for buying or not buying this DLC, for not contributing. It is not easy to be a consumer in this day and age. There's a lot to think about. Who you're supporting, how you're supporting it, how much you're spending. What is federal minimum wage in this country? $7.25 an hour, is it not? This DLC is $50. That is 8 hours of work. would you say that this DLC, 5 chapters of story mode, 6 characters, and animality, well, animalities are free, so let's not count that, is worth an 8-hour workday to you? If the answer is yes, buy it. If the answer is no, don't buy it. Simple as that. It's just the nature of these things. You could vote with your wallet all you want, but at the end of the day, corporations are going to get money any way they can, and I don't think the industry is suddenly going to boom and change without some real fucking regulations being put in place, Mary. Bethesda just unionized. Maybe we're on track to something. The SAG-AFTRA is now on strike for voice actors. Maybe we're finally on track to, some better things in the industry that can make games more affordable, make working in the entire industry better in general, condition-wise. But right now we're not there. And I just wanted to bring that up because it's like The Good Place. You can't just buy a tomato anymore. You have to think about how that tomato was sourced, where it came from, blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to present that critical line of thinking to people whose first instinct is to just immediately get angry. Because I feel you. I was angry too. And I am a little angry still. But what is you pouting in the corner going to do, Mary? At the end of the day, you're going to buy it or you're not. All right, for our last little segment here before we wrap up, I kind of wanted to do a little hot shot, speed round, hard game style prediction for every character on the roster. We're going to do a quick little, where do I think they're going to go end up in the story? Just like some predictions that I can maybe come back to and be like, I called that, or be like, damn, I was dead wrong, honey. What was I thinking? That kind of thing. So we're just going to go through every character on the roster real quick and come up with a place for them based off their MK1 ending, which is allegedly canon. It's kind of maybe where I want the character to go, where I whatever. Okay, so first up, Ermac. So he is Jared, has Sindel in him. I think he is probably going to restore Sindel, knowing how they love to bring people back to life. No, he's probably going to rule with Melina. I think it's just going to be more father-daughter combat, father-mother-daughter combat. I think he's just going to kind of remain overall the same, no real story arc there. Kitana. Okay, selfishly, I think Kitana should mirror Melina's place in the original timeline, and she should be evil and succumb to some sort of power, greed, lust, desire, especially since Liu Kang kind of dicked her down in the new timeline and not in the way that they used to be. She's just kind of secondhand to Melina, which is great. It's great that Melina's getting this moment of power to shine, but that's why Kitana needs to be the one to turn evil. One of these bitches has got to go bad, and if it's not going to be Melina, it's got to be Kitana. Speaking of Melina, I think she's going to have a mirror of MKX. There's going to be some sort of outworld conflict. She's in charge now. She united the people with Tarkov, which is great. But perhaps General Shao is going to create some shenanigans and try to overthrow her, and then maybe that'll create a whole new outworld civil war, which was like the most interesting story beat in MKX. Cannot believe they did not elaborate it more. So I think she is going to be fighting for the throne, respect, as well as the safety of whatever Havoc is going to bring. Tanya needs to be traitorous again. Honestly, who is this character? This is not fucking Tanya in MK1. It doesn't look anything like her. She doesn't even use the same weapon that she used to use. She doesn't even have the same story at all. This is not fucking Tanya. This is a cosplayer cosplaying as Tanya. Whatever. MK1 Tanya has got to go bad, like the old timeline. Yes, I'm saying revert. Yes, I'm saying reset. But there's a way to do it that isn't cheesy and corny. You can make it thematically appropriate by teaching some sort of lesson to Liu Kang that this is just their destiny. I'll even take it if she's corrupted by magic or some sort of spell, hex, revenant demon. Just make her evil again. Fuck, man. Reigns a bitch in this timeline, man. I don't know. No, I don't know. Maybe, so he did some shenanigans with Havoc in the end and ended up flooding a whole economy of people, and he felt kind of bad about that. So perhaps he will maybe fight with Melina as opposed to against her, like in MKX, and they will together defend Outworld from threat. Smoke! Okay, so I do think Hanzo and Harumi are going to play a part in this new expansion and the timeline. They've been teased, they've been talked about, we've all been wondering where they are. And in MK1's ending, Smoke becomes his daddy, so I think he's going to train Hanzo somehow, and perhaps Hanzo is going to be involved, and there's going to be some Xia Ryu Lin Kui nonsense. Basically, he's just going to be daddy. Scorpion. Scorpion is going to have a personal stake in this DLC because he is fighting Bihan, brother Noob Saibot, and there's going to be some conflict there, and yeah, I think they are going to not get along. Reptile. Reptile, I don't really see having much of a story arc in this DLC. Perhaps he will be similar to his role in the main story, where he's just kind of a helper, not so much a jobber, but just kind of helps the main people with whatever their goal is, whatever scheme they're trying to achieve, their plots, their plans. He's going to use his abilities, and perhaps Chameleon will get some light on her, shed some light on her species, because in one of his intro dialogues, he straight up says that she's Saurian and not Zaterran. So that's interesting. I think maybe through Reptile, we will get some more light on Chameleon. Sub-Zero. Well, Sub-Zero is now Noob Saibot, so I don't know that Sub-Zero, as we know him, is really going to do anything in this story expansion since he's dead. It looks like we're going to see the noobification. I hope they refer to him as Noob Saibot at some point, because if you notice, they don't ever do that. Nobody ever speaks the name Noob Saibot out loud, which is kind of weird and makes it feel like, I know it's a joke name. It's obviously Ed Boon and John Tobias backwards. We all know the joke. But it would be nice to hear someone call him that, even if it's Johnny Cage doing it as a joke, you know? Like, I want to hear it out loud. Say his name. Say his name. I think he's going to be evil and fuck shit up, and Havoc gave him chaos energy, so perhaps we're going to see a moveset switch up with him. Li Mei. I want Li Mei to do what she did in the original timeline and jump on that Onaga roller coaster. I want her to do something crazy. I want her to matter. She really didn't do that much in the story. She kind of had a sad girl arc, and that's about it. Her ending puts her in the same spot she was before the game took place, so make her do something. Kenshi. Kenshi is probably just going to be a good boy. If Takeda plays a role in the story, maybe there's going to be some dialogue there since they're cousins now. I assume he's just going to help the good guys do what they want to do. Baraka. Honestly, I don't know what Baraka's going to do. Since Melina kind of united them and made them normal people and kind of erased the stigma around people afflicted with the disease, they might just be there and people are just going to use the Tarkatan army, whoever has the best deal. I would imagine he's going to be loyal to Melina due to the, gratitude and grace that she has shown his people. So I just assume there's going to be a big battle involving Outworld. Melina's in charge of Outworld. I think Rain is going to align with her. I think Baraka's going to align with her. Yes. Now, Protector of Times, or future Protector of Times, since Liu Kang is going to die. It's eons from now, apparently, according to his ending. I think Garrus is going to play a part, probably going to die, because they're going to destroy the Hourglass. They're going to destroy the timeline nonsense. Whatever's happening next is what's happening next, and it's permanent. So if the Hourglass goes, Garrus goes, and I'm predicting the Hourglass goes. So therefore, I'm predicting Garrus goes. Takeda. I don't know. Similarly to Tanya, I'm kind of pissed off that they changed his backstory to be Kenshi's cousin now. Like, why are we changing such superficial things? It especially bothers me with Takeda, because Takeda was only in one game, MKX. That's the only story we know about him, and the only thing we have to base his character off of. We have now completely changed his character origins entirely, including his ancestral lineage. So now this just is a new character. This isn't Takeda. This is somebody cosplaying as Takeda. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I fucking mean? I'm like Takeda. I actually loved playing as him. I've been maining him recently. His gameplay is great. His design is pretty cool. I like that the voice acting is on par with MKX again. But why are we changing dumb things about the story? Because it doesn't feel like the same character. It feels like a new person. Tanya at least had years and years and games of lore and backstory behind where you could be like, oh, separate different timeline, but this is just like, we had one version of him and now he's somebody else. Entirely. The dynamic between him and Kenshi is entirely new. The dynamic between him and Scorpion, entirely new. His whole life, entirely new. Which I get is the point of this timeline. That doesn't mean I like it, bitch. That does not mean I like it, Susan. Roll your lazy ass over and slide to the next idea, because I didn't like this one. Anyway, prediction. I think he will be evil at first, turned good. Shang Tsung, probably just going to continue to get his ass kicked. Probably going to be tempted. Probably going to try to scheme and plot and do all this bullshit. Probably going to join Havoc's side at some point. Probably going to betray Havoc. Honestly, maybe Havoc will just body his ass. General Shao. I think he's going to try to overthrow Melina, perhaps even become successful at it so he can become Shao Kahn once again. Sindel is dead. Reiko. Oof, that's a good question. He's probably going to become something of the new Kotal, seeing that how he is General Shao's like twink on demand. He is probably just going to follow in his footsteps and be his little latchkey dog that does whatever he says. So he's probably going to be like the new Kotal to Shao and just be the military exec who carries out orders and force like that. Raiden will probably... What's going to happen with Raiden? I don't know. It'll probably be him who like ends it all. Like it'll probably come down, like he'll probably have the final chapter against Havoc and he'll probably play a big part in stopping him, similar to how, you know, like Liu Kang is the champion who always wins. So I guess prediction, he's the one defeats Havoc. Liu Kang probably won't change that much. It'll probably be similar to the main story ending where it's just like, all right, what's next is I try to do my best until the next conflict. Johnny Cage. Also probably going to just play a similar role in where he just is a good guy that exists. Cassie Cage is probably going to be his fucking sister or something now. Or who knows. I don't know with the Cage. Kung Lao. He's probably going to get some sort of great honor bestowed upon him in some sort of parallel to the Great Kung Lao. He will essentially become the new timeline's Great Kung Lao. If I had to guess, I don't know what that honor would be. Perhaps killing Onaga, perhaps defeating Quan Chi. I don't know. Something like that is going to earn him the title of the Great Kung Lao, and it's going to be a baller moment for him, and he's no longer going to be like second in command, sidekick, buddy to Raiden, who formerly how he would be to Liu Kang. Ashura, I don't know, but hopefully it leads into making Serena playable. She's probably gonna, in the similar fashion to the old timeline, realize that her sword, Datusha, is not actually cleansing her or making her more human. It's just a blood-hungry sword that wants demon blood. So she'll probably realize that and have a come to Jesus moment and just figure out how to be good. Realize that she was good all along and has to save Serena for playable on the roster. Tara will probably get entirely shafted. I would not be surprised if she's not even in this expansion. She will probably be visible, but won't speak, because did they hire Megan Fox to do more lines? That's the question. In MK11 Aftermath, Sonya Blade did not speak a word. I remember it so clearly. I was waiting for it. Ronda Rousey was nowhere to be found in that expansion. Sonya Blade got punched once in the face and made a grunt, and that's it. Havoc. Well, Havoc is a Titan now. Do I think our new timeline Havoc is going to react well to this? Probably not. Are we going to bring old timeline Havoc back? Probably not. He's going to fuck some shit up. He's going to try and merge Chaos Realm with Earth Realm or something. He's going to try to invigorate his anarchy on everyone, and I'm here for the shenanigans. I like Havoc. I'm ready to see his reign. Quan Chi. Quan Chi is probably going to get eviler, and perhaps whatever the next, like, he's gonna be the one that alludes to the next game, similar to how MK9 ends with him with like Shinnok being like, haha, our plan has worked, Shao Kahn has fallen flaw to our mortal coil, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever he says at the end of that cutscene. He's probably gonna do something similar here, where you think he's fighting with the good guys, you think he's fighting with the bad guys, you think he's fighting for his own agenda, but in the end he was partnering with insert next villain, and it's going to lead into that. So that's my prediction with every character on the main roster and where they're going to go in the expansion. I wonder how many I got right. All right, my dear creamies, that brings us to our final thoughts, our conclusion. I am excited for this new expansion. It is actually making me very nostalgic for Mortal Kombat. After MK1 released, the disappointment it was at launch made it kind of feel, it was very discouraging, and it wasn't like classic MK. It wasn't like the MKX reveals. It wasn't like the MK11 reveals. It wasn't like those levels of hype. So it was kind of a letdown. However, with this new expansion, I'm kind of getting really hype again, and I'm excited. I think I'm excited for the future of this franchise. I love this franchise so much. I want it to succeed. I want to see it do good things. So I am very hopeful and optimistic that this story is going to lead somewhere exciting and new and fresh, and MK2 is going to be great. Now this leaves a looming question, my dear children. After Kombat Pack 2, is there going to be more? I don't know, Mary. MK11, I was pretty damn confident we were going to get a Kombat Pack 3 and that Serena was going to be in it. And of course, we never got it. A lot of things fell through with that game. Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead was going to be in MK11. And we did not get that. Just like we did not get a Kombat Pack 3. What instead we got was 6 months of radio silence from the developers, only to announce that the plug had been yanked and that there would be no new content or support for MK11. I certainly hope that doesn't happen again, because I would love more Mortal Kombat content in the future. Is there going to be a year 3? Honestly, folks, I'm not convinced. Do I think there's going to be more? I do. I think I could see a Kombat Pack 3, not necessarily a whole year 3 like roadmap, but maybe 3 extra characters down the line. I don't know who, but maybe some fan favorites. I think it's pretty strange that in this whole game that focuses on cameos, there's no mention of cameos in Kombat Pack 2 or Khaos Reigns. It doesn't look like there's going to be any new cameos coming. And that's fucking weird, right? How are we going to introduce new characters but no cameos? Especially when the roster is so big to pull from. That feels strange. That feels really fucking strange. So I would not be surprised if in year 3 we get a whole cameo pack and they introduce like 5 new cameos at once. $30 DLC, who knows? Something like that. Hopefully they bring more women into the game. People want Cassie Cage, Jade, Serena, Shiva, Chameleon could become playable. Sonya Blade is still not in this game. Where is Scarlet? Scarlet would be the perfect cameo. I would love if she was playable too. She could be the perfect cameo as well. So I do think there's going to be more. Also, controversially, I think Kronika would make a great cameo. Yep, I said it. I said it. I said it. Say what you will about Kronika, the character. I think her design is really cool. And I think her combat style could be fun. It would be different than Garrus, because Garrus is more like Sands of Time. She was more like the Element of Time. I think you can make her have a moveset for a cameo, 4 or 5 moves, similar to what she did in MK11, perhaps. Could you imagine if she rode in on a dinosaur or some shit, or like summoned a dinosaur across your screen to help you? That would be pretty cool. And her design in MK11, you know, the form that Shang Tsung took in the story mode, is pretty cool. I like it. I love her voice. I think Jennifer Hale voices her beautifully, and I want to hear more of it. So I think Kronika could be a cool cameo, and that would be a nice way to kind of put a bow on her legacy, if you will, to the franchise, because then we never have to bring her up again ever, especially if the timelines are deceased. So Kronika for Cameo Pack 1. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this discussion about everything Mortal Kombat. This queen loves her fatalities, her combat, her blood, her gore, you know it. Mortal Kombat is probably my favorite video game franchise of all time, tied just up there with Resident Evil. I'm obsessed with this franchise. I'm excited for what comes next. I'm excited to tell you about what comes next and talk about it with you. So down in the comments, tell me, are you excited for Khaos Reigns? Why am I not? Are you excited for Ghostface? If you comment in my comment section, he's just a guy with a knife. You're going to eat that fucking words when I'm challenge you online when Ghostface releases and I stab you with said knife in match. Fatality your ass. Catch me on Xbox Live. How about that? Anyways, my loves, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to support me on my drag journey, follow me on Instagram at queen_cream. You'll know it's me because of that beautiful neon green hair that I love to rock. I love to perform. I love to give it all to you. I am a nerd at heart, so my people are you all. Thank you so much for supporting me. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment your Mortal Kombat thoughts down below. I would like to
move forward in open dialogue.
thank you all for giving this queen's opinion a listen, and I will see you in the next video, my lovely dear creamies. Bye-bye.